Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, then thank you for stopping by. My name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. This is going to be a twin flame reading today. So I will be channeling messages for the Twin Flame Collective in this video. I have to say, as I was starting to mentally prepare for this reading, I immediately began picking up on some solar plexus chakra sensations. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with the chakra system, the solar plexus is located around the stomach area. I'm specifically feeling that this could manifest as a little bit of stomach pain for someone, particularly in the upper stomach area. I also feel that this won't be for everyone, so only take from this and really from all of my messages throughout this reading, whatever resonates with you personally. I'm also feeling some mid-back and potentially even shoulder sensations. You guys know I like to share what I channel, not just emotionally, but also physically through the physical body to really bring clarity to potentially some strange or unexplainable physical sensations that some of you in the collective may be having. Because as you all know, we process energy not just through our emotions, what we think of as the emotional body, but our body actually exists at so many different levels and layers. One of these, of course, being the literal physical body. So this energy that we process, whether it's individual, whether it is some kind of a collective shift, we are really capable of feeling through any of those layers of our being, of our body. So be gentle with yourself if you found yourself in a time of feeling something that is confusing, potentially even painful or overwhelming, and really give yourself that self-love, that gentle self-love you need to introspect about that feeling, to kind of sense into the root of where it could be coming from rather than immediately self-judging for feeling the way that you do. I just felt that someone really needed to hear that right now. The card Door to Value in the upright position came out here as I was speaking. Now, we were talking about the solar plexus chakra, so I find this card very synchronistic because the solar plexus is connected to our sense of self and confidence. Immediately, I heard the word boundaries. I'm also sensing that for many in the collective, this may apply specifically to a divine feminine listening. Now, as I say in all of my readings, when I use the terms divine feminine or divine masculine, I am referring to energies, specifically the predominance of one particular energy within you, because we each do have both of these energies within. Sorry, I had to clear my throat there for a second. And so usually when we use these labels, we're really just labeling whichever energy we feel most dominantly within us. And then our twin flame mirrors this balance back to us within themselves. So door to value upright. How is there a divine feminine who is increasing her value? There is definitely something about boundaries here. I also heard clearing your energy fields. I keep getting this image as though someone is like infiltrating this divine feminine's energy field, not her twin flame counterpart, but some other energy or maybe multiple energies. These could be platonic or romantic. And when I say infiltrate, that's really a heavy word. I don't mean that this is anything dangerous. I simply mean that I heard tired. I feel like I could be connecting with a divine feminine who has experienced a lot of physical or emotional tiredness or exhaustion. I feel this could have happened in recent months. I don't feel this is something brand new. And I also feel as though she is receiving intuitive guidance from her guides, from spirit, that these feelings of prolonged exhaustion and fatigue, I heard hidden source, like they could have a hidden source, and potentially these could be stemming from this lack of energetic or emotional boundaries with other people in her life. Again, I don't feel this is necessarily directly related to her twin flame counterpart. I feel this could be even well-meaning people and even people she has a good relationship or connection with. It's simply that I heard giving too much of herself, that she's giving too much of herself away at times to these other people. So I don't feel this message will be for everyone, but do let me know if that resonates with you. And if it does, I'm also feeling a message from this Divine Feminine from the Starseed Oracle deck. So I'm going to get a card from there. But while I'm shuffling, be sure to like this video and also subscribe to this channel, because by liking and subscribing, you are virtually transmitting, I almost dropped some of the cards there, transmitting your energy to me, and I'm actually able to pick up on that more clearly, regardless of when or where you are listening to these readings. These are timeless readings, by the way. I do get asked that. But being subscribed here to this channel actually allows you to contribute your energy in the sense that I'm able to pick up on it more easily. So a card just came out of this deck, and let's see what we've got here. Star Ancestors, Hidden Secrets, Lost Wisdom, Look a Little Deeper. I'm also really feeling called to read from the guidebook about this. The ancients knew much more than we do about our connection with the stars. Their pyramids, temples, and other places of worship, created in precise alignment with the stars, exist in all corners of the world. What if this ancient wisdom is available for you to uncover now? You're being called to think and listen with your ancient heart and soul, to tap into that part of you that remembers and knows. All ancient secrets are whispered forever in your ears. All mystic knowing blooms in your heart. All potent power pumps through your veins. You're being invited to step into your ancient knowingness, to be held by the rememberings of the star ancestors, to look a little deeper. So in connection with what we were discussing with confidence, with boundaries, with the solar plexus chakra, I'm really feeling as though if you are this divine feminine that has been feeling this way, that has potentially been feeling either an urge to disconnect or to set boundaries a little bit more with certain people in your life. And again, I'm getting that many, if not all of these people and relationships aren't inherently bad or destructive. In fact, I feel these could be very well-meaning individuals and connections that bring you a lot of joy. But also, I'm feeling there is the necessity here to, I just heard like remember who you are, or hold on to who you are within those connections. Because I do feel this is going to come off a little bit odd, but I'm feeling this divine feminine who on this soul level is actually this very ancient, wise soul, is on this highly spiritual path or journey. And many of these people or connections in her life do not share that same journey. Of course, I don't mean they are lesser in any sense, but simply that they are different from her and she can perceive this differentness. And at times it causes her to feel alone. I keep hearing the term spirit guides. So someone might be feeling called to the idea of spirit guides, of connecting more consciously with their guides at this time. Or this could simply be a representation of someone being called to really spend time with themselves. I see someone like journaling, doing some kind of like therapeutic session. I also heard cognitive behavioral therapy. So there could be someone just really doing a lot of deep level inner work, which is really connected to spiritual work on themselves right now. And again, this might require giving less to others in terms of time and energy and giving more to themselves. And I'm hearing you also being called to release any feelings of guilt that could be coming up along with this. So thank you to those of you who waited through those messages if those weren't particularly for you. And I hope that if that was your message, it reached you and was meaningful to you. So I am now going to be reshuffling the decks here. And I want to dig a little deeper into potentially what could be being cleared out of this Divine Feminine's energy field, because that is one message that came through very strongly prior to this reading. When I was preparing for it, I felt that there was a lot being cleared out, to put it lightly, on a deep level for this Divine Feminine and really for the collective Divine Feminine. The words quick, answer, and law came out from the Love Word Scramble. For those of you who are new, the Love Word Scramble is a tool I use to channel specific words that will connect with individuals in a certain way. With the word law, I instantly heard something about a legal career or a lawyer or some issue with the law. Potentially, I heard like a lawsuit, so that could somehow connect in with someone in some way. I do feel that is probably just meant for one person. With the word answer, I'm hearing or sensing someone who feels as though they've been, I heard, having trouble finding clarity or seeking answers. And I feel as though I'm connecting with someone who struggles at times to trust themselves, which I'm also being told has really deep roots, potentially into childhood experiences, early life experiences, past life experiences. This person has struggled in the past to really trust their own intuition and inner guidance. I'm hearing because they were led or misled away from that inner guidance through this life path in some way. So that could have been from childhood. It could be later in life. Someone or something, I feel, has told this person or somehow trained this person to believe that they couldn't trust what their heart and soul knows to be true. So I feel at times it has occurred to this person recently that they're struggling to find clarity. I'm seeing like this person feels as though they're walking through a fog. And perhaps this is why the term spirit guides came out, because someone in this position or someone who this message is for could have tried to seek out some kind of a guide. They could have called out to the divine, trying to kind of find this clarity or to find an answer about some kind of a situation. And I keep hearing a voice say, you're still seeking external validation for what your heart already knows. You already have the answers. You have the knowingness within you. And the two cards to come out here from the Energy Oracle deck are Contract in the reverse position and Deceit in the upright position. Now, this Contract card, I typically connect with some form of karmic situation. Now, a karmic, of course, can be and typically is manifested in the form of a person or relationship in our lives. That's traditionally how I apply this card, but it should be said that really at the root of these karmic people or connections is some kind of unhealed wound or pattern within ourselves. So really the karmic cycle, the karmic pattern isn't in the person externally or the relationship externally. It's actually within us, and it has to be healed from within in order to shift beyond these karmic situations that manifest physically. With the Deceit card, I feel that this will connect differently for different people. What I'm sensing for specifically, again, we're talking to the Divine Feminine here. I'm sensing the shifting out of some kind of a karmic cycle or pattern. I'm hearing that for many Divine Feminines, this may not have manifested in one specific karmic relationship, but actually a lot of karmic connections. These could be platonic or romantic in this Divine Feminine's life. I'm hearing that there's definitely a Divine Feminine who has experienced like these very fast-paced karmic connections. I hear her saying like, I'm overwhelmed by it, I'm exhausted by it. I mean, like over the course of years, I feel like she's connected with many different karmic people or patterns or situations that seem to just recur, like to come up over and over. These could be romantically, this could be within friendships. I'm getting the vibe that this Divine Feminine has either moved around a lot or switched friends a lot, switched relationships a lot. I hear it's like she's had trouble putting down roots, and I'm feeling her guide step in here to say, The reason that you've always struggled, again, this won't be for everyone, so this is probably just for a few people, but if you've struggled to really feel as though you belong somewhere or with someone or with some group of friends, or you've really struggled to put down roots as you look back over your life in one place, know that there is a divine purpose for this. You have chosen this highly accelerated life path. And this is actually connected with your twin flame path as well, because you chose to experience these very rapid paced karmic situations and cycles in order to break out of them faster. I'm hearing like at least 10 times faster than most people ever do in one lifetime, for the purpose of actually ultimately leading you into this twin flame connection in the physical, which of course always exists within you, but most people never reach a level of evolution in one lifetime to consciously recognize their twin flame. But you chose in this life for it to be different. You chose this very rapid, accelerated path, breaking through so many karmic cycles and patterns through these many different life experiences. I'm hearing this divine feminine say, I feel like I've lived like 8 different lives. But the reason you chose this is actually as a kind of energetic preparation for ultimately your twin flame path, or consciously recognizing your twin flame in this lifetime. Now, again, that won't be for everyone, so only take it if it connects with you. But with this Deceit card in the upright position, I feel as though, oh wow, okay, so I heard self-betrayal, and that finally makes sense, because I feel as though in many of these karmic patterns and situations, this divine feminine was actually betraying herself, whether it was romantically, platonically, within her family. It was like, I'm hearing that it's not just that she gave, there's so many messages coming at once. You can hear me just speeding up the way I'm talking, trying to get all of this out. But I'm hearing that there were many different ways in these different connections that she actually betrayed herself, whether this was through over self-sacrificing, giving more of her time and energy to these others than she was to herself, whether this was presenting something inauthentic in order to be validated by these other people. There's this pattern, this internal karmic pattern of self-betrayal that this divine feminine is finally breaking free from. And I'm hearing that for her, this is actually terrifying at times, because what she is unlearning and breaking free of has been so familiar to her. I'm hearing it was painful, but it was home. It was, metaphorically speaking, where she felt safe, because this was her deeply seated pattern, this pattern of self-betrayal, and then seeking this external validation from other people was so deep that it began to feel like a kind of home to her emotionally. Wow, though, I mean, this divine feminine is really breaking out of this, which also could explain why at times I'm hearing moody. She may feel as though she has these extreme mood swings, or feels really emotional all of a sudden and doesn't know why, or really scared all of a sudden, like feels these anxieties and fears coming up that maybe weren't brought to the surface before. But it's like that's the key here. The reason these things are being experienced by her is because it's like I'm seeing something literally being broken open within her, like I'm seeing this weird visual of like pottery that contains something like a negative emotion inside it, and she's like crushing those pieces of pottery and breaking out this negative emotion, releasing it. But as it releases through her, she is then feeling it again. It's like she's re-experiencing it, but for the last time. It's like re-experiencing it in order to fully process it out. So I'm hearing it's like, don't be harsh on yourself in the process of re-experiencing these released negative emotions in order to set them free from your being, in order to clear the air energetically within yourself. I know that was a really intense message. I really hope that reached whoever needed to hear it. Wow, just really powerful messages there. I want to get a message of guidance for this divine feminine from the Starseed Oracle. So, what does this specific divine feminine need to know at this time? Lifting the veil. Wow, okay, I have a major wave of goosebumps reading this card. questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. And that one line just jumped out from the card. Anything unaligned must go. That is what is happening here, this releasing of anything within this divine feminine that is no longer aligned with this highest version of herself she is ready to reclaim. I'm going to read a little bit from this card here also in the guidebook. I promise we are going to get into the divine masculine also. I'm just feeling really powerful messages for the divine feminine coming through here. So the guidebook says, things aren't always as they seem. This era is one of uncovering mistruths so we can remember ancient truths. Everything is in a state of recall and realignment. Anything that isn't in harmony will not survive. Wow, really beautiful messages. And one final message from the guidebook I feel is important. You're being called to trust yourself. Notice what's out of alignment, and then take the baby steps required to bring it back into harmony. This is no easy feat, but it's so worthwhile, both individually and for the planet. So if you are the divine feminine I am connecting with here, I do just need to say you are doing such powerful, beautiful work, more so than your conscious mind even realizes at times. So be gentle with yourself and keep pressing forward, keep pushing forward. Sometimes in places that feel beyond your comfort zone, you know what you are doing. You know in your heart and soul what path you are destined to follow, what path you chose for yourself. So be sure to choose yourself over these others, to set healthy boundaries within all of your connections, platonically and romantically, and above all, to maintain that inner self-focus that is going to make you so incredibly magnetic. Yeah, and just one final simple message from the Moonology deck. Your hard work is paying off, new moon in Capricorn. So this powerful inner work you are doing, even if it feels slow at times or you don't see immediate changes, is really affecting major change within you energetically, more than you can even see visually or consciously at times. Wow, okay, so let's head over to the Divine Masculine. By the way, there will be an extended version of this reading for those of you who are parts of our beautiful Twin Flame Soul Tribe on Patreon. So all of that information is linked in the pinned comment and description box under this video. And I will be sharing later on some of what specifically we will be channeling more in depth in that extended reading. So let's go back to the Energy Oracle cards deck here and speak to the Divine Masculine. So what is going on with the Divine Masculine right now? For some reason, I heard the word fear, and this is fear I'm sensing connected actually to the twin flame connection in some sense. Okay, clarity. So the happy family upright came out here, and this brings clarity to what I was just saying about this divine masculine potentially feeling fear. I feel like his fears are in regards to, I heard, the stability he wants and has always wanted, but hasn't been ready for in the past in the physical world. I feel like this divine masculine might be spending a lot of time in his own head, in his own thoughts lately. I heard daydreaming, fantasizing. There's just this message over and over of it's something I want, but something I'm not quite yet ready for on this like higher self level. Also in this image on the card Happy Family, there is a family, a mom, dad, and what appears to be a little girl and a little boy. And that little boy just really stood out to me. And I feel like this divine masculine, I hear him like reflecting back on his childhood or his family or his upbringing. And regardless of how his upbringing was, positive or negative or however you want to label it, I feel like there's something here about this divine masculine wanting to create something different, something better, wanting to either build upon the way that he was raised, or perhaps this was a challenging upbringing. I do feel for many masculines this was a difficult childhood, and it's like he desperately wants to create something different. There's something about really wanting stability here in the physical with the divine feminine, but I hear the divine feminine saying, but it's like the words and actions seem to contradict his desire for that stability. So I feel like this is creating this really confusing situation. So I want to know why this divine masculine could at times be contradicting his desire for 3D stability with his words and actions. And I did hear again, it's because he's not ready yet, like he's being prepared in some sense. Rest and rejuvenation in the upright position. I hear now is not the time for movement, it is the time for rest. I specifically heard the time to absorb. I feel like there could have been a lot of change. I heard ego death in this masculine's life, and it's like something could have happened. I heard cataclysmic, like some big event in this masculine's life that really shook him up. I heard this could be news or information he received. Whatever this was, I feel like over the last year, this masculine has been through something that was a very painful event or circumstance or something along those lines, either in his personal life or his business, work life. Whatever this thing was, I feel almost as though right now is the time. This could have even had to do with the divine feminine. Maybe that relationship changed in the physical. Maybe she physically separated, set boundaries, or walked away. I'm not sure. I feel this will apply very differently for different people. This is a collective reading. But I do feel that whatever this event was, it was like it sent out this shockwave energetically through this masculine that now has to be settled. It's like he has to absorb whatever was shaken up by this very big event or circumstance. So right now, I see him actually spending a lot of time resting, whatever that means for him. This could be, I hear to the divine feminine, this may look like stagnancy. This may look like him not moving forward, but there's actually something really powerful happening for this masculine beneath the surface. And again, that is the absorption of these energetic changes that have already taken place, but have to have time to really work their way through his being. I'm hearing he might be feeling unusually tired or exhausted because of the absorption of these huge changes. He may be really hard on himself about this fatigue he's been feeling, because I hear that at certain times in this masculine's life, he's been either a workaholic or has always been in motion. I see him like moving, always on the go, like very busy. And I feel like right now he's being called to this time of rest as opposed to this time of chaos and busyness. But I feel that I heard running from something. So for some masculines, overworking or pushing themselves could have been a way to actually run from facing something within that they weren't ready to face, or maybe it wasn't even divine timing yet for them to face these things in the past. But because of this situation that happened that was very intense, I feel like this masculine now has no choice but to face it, because it's like something has really shaken him up. It's like he has to, I also keep hearing something about being alone with himself, like he has to be alone with himself. So this could be a divine masculine who has either felt separated from his divine feminine counterpart, or this could be someone who, even within relationships, perhaps he's in a relationship but is feeling really alone. There's something about either feeling or literally being alone with himself for the purpose of processing all of these major energetic upgrades and changes happening within him. And also being hard on himself about needing so much time to rest or to be alone with himself during this transformation process. Door to romance in the reverse position. I heard shutting out love or shut out to love. I want to know some details on that. Why is this divine masculine shutting out love or feeling, I'm hearing left out in the cold. So this could be a divine masculine feeling romantically alone. This also could mean that this divine masculine is the one shutting out the divine feminine in the physical, or that it appears that way. But I'm hearing that if that is your circumstance, there's some element of illusion. I'm hearing that if this divine masculine is shutting out or appears to be shutting out the divine feminine, it's because he is reflecting externally what he feels within himself. He feels left out in the cold. He feels shut out from love. And really internally, that's being shut out from his own self-love. And so that is part of the dynamic I feel is being healed for him. in order for him to be open to a deepening of love connection in the physical 3D world as well. I'm also hearing that this is going to be a process. This isn't something that is going to shift instantaneously, because that would be impossible on an energetic level. It's like there's so much taking place, so much that needs to be processed for this divine masculine. It simply cannot happen all at once. And that is why the divine feminine has been called over and over to being patient. Anxiety in the reverse position. Yeah, I feel this card because I was speaking to the divine feminine for a moment there. I actually feel this is for the divine feminine, this anxiety reversed, because I was saying she was being called to be patient, but I feel my guide saying not just to be patient, but to also release her fears, release her anxieties about this situation with her divine masculine specifically, or this connection. I'm hearing the way in which it's going to happen, the timing in which it's going to happen. There is this need to release. I'm seeing these anxieties almost like metaphorical cords. It's like these attachments. That's the word I keep hearing, attachments. It's like attachments to timing, to outcomes, to timelines, to certain specific vehicles by which this connection will change. And it's like there is this need for the divine feminine on the other side to create the space energetically for this masculine to continue his healing work by cutting these cords of anxiety, these cords of attachment to the situation that are actually, if they remain there, it's like they kind of continue to perpetuate this dynamic. I'm hearing like a push-pull dynamic where this divine feminine is worried about the masculine, or worried about the situation or how it's going to unfold. And then the divine masculine feels this worry or anxiety and then reflects it back as kind of like his own form of anxiety, like anxiety about facing his own, I heard trauma, inner wounds, his own healing, which leads to this kind of stagnancy. So in order for the divine feminine to create this space for the masculine to heal, to continue this natural unfolding of his spiritual awakening, the shift that is taking place within him, I just keep hearing she can't get too involved in the physical, meaning by the word involved, I feel like this means allowing her ego to exert itself onto him or onto the situation. I know I'm speaking kind of at an abstract level because this is collective, but I really hope that for those of you who this applies to, that connected with you in some sense. So I am going to be reshuffling the cards here. And I do want to head over to the extended pretty soon, but I want to see if I can just get a final message about what anxieties this divine feminine needs to release. What anxieties does this divine feminine need to release right now? The thinking man in the reverse position. This is interesting. So this card typically applies to a divine masculine's ego, but I specifically heard that there's a divine feminine who is afraid that this divine masculine is never going to be able to release his ego. This is really interesting. And I'm actually hearing this strange message of when she is afraid that he isn't going to let go of his ego, ironically, her hyper masculine, her inner hyper masculine begins to take the wheel energetically, which actually intensifies this triggering kind of dynamic, because what many of us forget, it's very easy to forget that we both have this inner masculine and inner feminine because we become so fixated on the other. So I'm hearing that it's like when this divine feminine tries to, from her own space of ego-based desire to control, tries to force the masculine to change or to do something differently or to be something differently or on a different timeline than he is ready for, what is happening is she's actually intensifying this situation and keeping him, or contributing to keeping him stuck, because in this pushing kind of energy, which is really just her own inner hyper masculine, sending her inner masculine and feminine energy out of balance, it's like He's not hearing her words. He's not feeling what she is trying to do in the physical, trying to push him. What he feels is this internal lack of harmony within himself, because twin flames are perfect energetic mirrors. So he senses the lack of balance within the divine feminine and responds to the energy, not to the words, not to the action. So there's something here for the divine feminine about relaxing into trust, into knowing, into total surrender about this situation. What else does this divine feminine need to know at this time about these feelings of anxiety? The void. Stop. Embrace winter. Great cosmic wound. Wait. It's not time yet. Things are being woven. Wow. So what I'm really feeling is, with the void card, embrace the darkness. Embrace the uncertainty. With weight, this card is pretty self-explanatory. It's synchronistic because this card basically says exactly what we were just talking about. It's not time yet. Things are being woven into place. And it is safe to trust that divine weaving process without feeling the need to, in the physical 3D, be involved necessarily in the sense we think of being involved in that process. I just keep hearing this message of it's happening naturally, and it is going to continue to happen naturally. It's like something that is unfolding, not something that has to be pushed or forced into place. So I really hope that these messages were beneficial to someone who needed to hear them at this time. Now we are going to be heading over to the extended version of this reading. And in this extended version, I will be channeling love-related as well as hopefully life-related messages as well from both the divine masculine and the divine feminine on both the 3D levels, so what could be going on in the physical, as well as on a higher self soul level, what they are really feeling or thinking beneath the surface of all of that at times chaos that can happen in the physical world. So the link to that extended reading is in the pinned comment and description box under this video. For those of you who are stopping off here, I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again in the next reading video.